Hello there once again, friends and enemies, and welcome back to Unfinished Archetype, the series where I take a look at sets of cards that Konami has printed that almost make up an archetype but have never fully been realized. And then we try and take a look at what they were probably doing. Today is an archetype that I feel like probably gets used a lot more than I think it does, and that is Potan. Potan monsters are short and simple, so let's get started with Black Potan, which cannot be destroyed by battle when you control a face-up tuner monster, and whenever a face-up tuner monster that you control leaves the field, you can gain 800 life points. With Red Potan, you can target a Potan monster and treat it as a tuner monster until the end of the next turn. And then when a monster is synchro summoned while Red Potan is out in the field, you can special summon a Potan monster from your hand or deck, and each of those effects can be used once per turn. And lastly, we have White Potan. Much like Black Potan, it cannot be destroyed by battle when you control a face-up tuner monster, and when a face-up tuner monster you control is sent to the graveyard by battle, you can inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent. So what's going on with this tiny archetype? Of course, the most obvious thing is that this archetype is made to be a synchro archetype. It's definitely seemingly made to be a support archetype, but there are little nuggets in there that allow it to be kind of its own thing, sort of. Given that all of the Potans are level 1s, you could make a level 2 or a level 3 synchro monster, potentially. And I feel like if we were to get more Potan cards of different colors, they'd probably work somewhat similarly to Red Potan, making other Potan monsters be tuner monsters, and then have a different effect if something is synchro summoned or if probably another specific Potan is summoned. And overall, I feel like that would probably be an interesting way to incorporate these monsters into their own archetype. Give it like a synchro boss monster that it could, you know, deal with. Give it multiple synchros even. You could have it synchro with a specific named Potan like they used to do back when synchro monsters first came out. I feel like Potans have a lot of potential, but right now they kind of just sit as a support archetype for synchro decks, which is also fine in its own right. But I feel like it has potential to be more. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's all for Potan. I don't have a lot to say, much like with a lot of these archetypes. But how do you feel about Potan? Do you use them in decks? And if you do, how well do they work? If you don't use them in decks, tell me how you feel about this archetype. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found something to enjoy about this video, and until next time, as always, drink your water.